Hi everyone, this is the video version of my Unleash Your Spirit letter, and this is number 98. Are you in pursuit of pleasure or happiness? Being in pursuit of pleasure brings much pain and little happiness, while being in pursuit of happiness allows pleasure too and blocks most pain from arising. What desires and goals drive you along in your life? How can you be happy? How often are you happy? What is happiness? Have you consciously spent time reflecting upon this? Or does the busyness of a modern lifestyle sweep you along with, apparently, no time for such inner contemplations? I often think we should be called human feelings more than human beings, because we have two major motivational driving forces in our human psyche, to feel good and to avoid feeling bad. With that in mind, let's see what the difference between pleasure and happiness is, and how being in pursuit of one or the other will fundamentally shape the way we experience and engage with life. I will argue that a life based on the pursuit of pleasure leads to dependency and self-destruction, while a life based on the pursuit of happiness leads to freedom and self-growth. As always, I also argue that through the lifelong pursuit of understanding ourselves and the way life works, we can make informed choices, good decisions, and live intelligently and harmoniously, which, as we shall see, lead to the happiness human beings innately and instinctively seek for themselves and their loved ones. Sadly, something went wrong along the way on our evolutionary timeline, and we were all given a wrong understanding about how to make good in our life. When we know what hinders us, we can overcome it. In pursuit of pleasure. I have observed that the modern materialistic way of life is all based on the pursuit of pleasure. I think as human beings we deeply yearn happiness, but the way of life conditioned into us as young children leads to an adulthood where the two are confused and conflated. We think pleasure is happiness. This is a most unfortunate misunderstanding that, in my view, is leading to the destruction of societies where materialism is the basis for its culture. As we shall see, being in pursuit of pleasure all the time will bring us pain too, yet being in pursuit of happiness does not bring us unhappiness. By signing up to this material, acquisitive way of life, we become driven by a ceaseless conveyor belt of desires. We want to get things, to own things, to buy things, to have things, to possess things, to become things. Not just things, our desire is often to get and control people too. We believe that, subconsciously of course, for that is where beliefs always live, getting money and being rich, buying things, having many possessions, the second house, the fancy car, the yacht, expensive jewellery, landing the beautiful, desirable woman or the handsome, dashing husband, being famous, having an impressive title, getting promoted, getting validation, being approved of, being desired by others, will bring happiness to our life. However, upon getting what we desired, the good feeling turns out to be short-lived, and so in no time at all we are off in pursuit of the next desire. This defines our life, always wanting what we don't have, never content with what we do have. Should we fail to get what we desired, we will feel bad in some way, call it pain. Perhaps more painful is the thought that we have been seen to have failed. Either way, the next desire drives us forward in life. Acquisitive desires like this may bring us pleasure, a short-time good feeling, but not happiness. We may get pain instead, not even a hit of pleasure for our sins. Then there is alcohol, drugs, nicotine, fast foods, sugar, shopping, social media, gambling, pornography, the news, and so on. Each time we imbibe, one or more of our sense organs are stimulated and we get a short-lived good feeling again. Not happiness, pleasure. But the hit of pleasure feels good, so we want more of it. Over time, we increasingly need more of our substance to get the same hit of pleasure, And we need more of it more and more often to get the same hit of pleasure. Also, over this time period, pain makes itself known more and more frequently, becoming harder and harder to cope with. At some point in time, we have a bad habit, and not long after, we have an addiction. When the pain outweighs the pleasure, we find we can't stop. Desire for pleasure has come to dominate our life, bringing us fleeting good times and much pain. And in between the pleasure or pain outcomes, a whole load of desire for more substance, more money, more fame, more social media clicks, more praise, more things. It never stops. It's relentless. Pleasure and pain are two sides of the same coin of desire. The desire-driven pursuit of pleasure reduces human beings to soul-suppressed consumers, and we don't mind one bit if we adopt the behaviour of locusts in a swarm. It's getting what we want that matters. Our language tells us the story. It's a dog-eat-dog world, survival of the fittest, anything goes, all's fair in love and war, and we are caught up in the ugliness and the dehumanisation of the rat race. Naturally enough, even in mild expressions of such an outlook on life, we will struggle in our relationships at home, work and play, and most especially with our own self. We live in near perpetual stress and conflict, alleviated only by short hits of pleasure. And because we don't know how to get real happiness, we say this world we know is the norm. In pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness, from the United States Declaration of Independence. Happiness is what we want, yet it seems so elusive. America even wrote it into its constitution 250 years ago. Notice it says pursuit of happiness, suggesting we need to do something to get it. So what is it? How can we get it? And how do we escape from the treadmill of materialistic, acquisitive consumerism, which will lead to addictions, nihilism, and a pain-filled life? Well, just learn how to get happiness, and then be in conscious pursuit of it for the rest of your life. Job done. That may sound simple, but living intelligently is usually a simple concept, even if putting it into practice is not quite so easy. But at least with understanding, making positive change is possible. Without the understanding, such change is impossible. And that, as I have written many times before, is because during our formative years, this anti-human, materialistic society and its rotten school system disconnected, disempowered and dehumanized us, turning us into rats and locusts and pitching us into a dog-eat-dog world. It is ironical indeed that this nihilistic culture of anything goes, the materialistic society book of rules, has hundreds of thousands of laws, bylaws, edicts, mandates, regulations, statutes, etc. in it. So a question for you, looking back at the list of things we erroneously think will bring us happiness and the list of stimulants we seek out, and the list of stimulants we seek out. Question, what is the common denominator of them all? The answer helps us understand the crucial difference between the feelings of pleasure and happiness. Now, just to remind you on the list, we had getting money, being rich, buying things, having many possessions, getting the beautiful wife or the handsome husband, being famous, getting promoted, having an impressive title, being validated by others, being desired by others, being envied by others, and so on. So, what is the common denominator of them all? Have you got it? All of them make you dependent on the outside world, people, things, situations, events, for your good feeling. Dependent either on something to consume or getting something to happen. Dependency is a blockage of our freedom, allowing the thing or person you are dependent on to control your feelings, actions, thoughts, and emotions, spells fate, and even dominate your life. Your desire is driving you, and you do what you need to do to get the good feeling or to avoid a bad feeling. What we consume ends up consuming us. Start again. What we consume ends up consuming us. Pain, self-destruction. And to get the things we desire to happen, if we can get power over others by some means, we can use force to control and coerce them to do things so that we get what we want. But even though we may be controlling others with the power we have acquired, we ourselves are controlled by our desires to get the pleasure or avoid the pain. Both master and slave are controlled. Neither has freedom. Addiction, dependency, force, corruption, pain. That is the life of a pursuer of pleasure, even if they never set out to be that way. The dependency on getting our good feelings makes us behave in bad ways that inevitably hurt others. Now we open ourselves up to revenge, resentment, hatred, disrespect, and so on. So we can logically deduce, if pursuing pleasure leads us to dependency, the pursuit of happiness will not lead us to dependency. Happiness comes to us when we do things ourselves, when we create, produce, build up, learn, become skilled in something, grow, share, give, contribute. We exercise that magical attribute given to human beings, free will. Free will to make things happen, not to wait for things to happen. We become the white horse. We create our own magic pill. We don't look for happiness out there in the world. We look within ourselves to our own abilities and skills to do things that enable our own hearts and minds to produce our own supply of happiness. By our choice of actions, we create the conditions to feel happy, to feel joy, to feel an inner contentment, not linked to the stimulation of our physical sensory channels. When we proactively use our energy to contribute to the well-being of others, to promote good feelings in others and ourselves, to build ourselves and others up, life takes on an entirely different hue. We feel self-confident, we live with self-belief, we like to make others happy. The pursuit of pleasure makes us a consumer, dependent, controlled, and ultimately an addict. The pursuit of happiness makes us a creator, a doer, a builder, a producer, a learner, a contributor, a giver. Pleasure is an outside-in thing, happiness an inside-out thing. Pleasure costs money and health, happiness is free and health-producing. The pursuit of happiness puts us in charge of our own life, enables us to live intelligently and harmoniously. We can grow, adapt, learn, reflect, evolve our way through life. We live with purpose, clarity, vitality, energy. Our major defining aim in life is not a desire to get something in the future or not, but to do things today that make us feel good inside, happy, joyful, peaceful, satisfied, content today. Upon that basis, we may then decide what future we would like to create. Just to be clear, I'm not advocating against pleasure, just that a way of life based on always pursuing it will end in tears. I still love my pleasures, but only within the framework of being a happiness hunter. Summary. Cultural values as taught to us through schooling and media, based on acquisition of wealth, possessions, fame, prestige, and on sensory stimulation, drugs, sugar, junk food, nicotine, social media, alcohol, and all the rest of them, represent a human way of life in pursuit of pleasure. It does not deliver happiness. It is a life of short hits and bursts of pleasure, with many hits of pain and a dissatisfaction with the life in between, the life in search of the next hit. When we consciously choose the pathway of happiness, doing, creating, building, sharing, giving, contributing, learning, we must change our mindset and our way of life. And this is when we come home to our true self. We no longer need others to validate us, nor do we seek their approval or envy, nor do we fear their judgment, because we know who we are. We have become the sovereign human being the universe invited us here to be. And there you have it. So until the next letter, help yourself to an empowering week. Philip. PS. What are your experiences of happiness, pleasure and pain? Do you agree with my distinctions? I'd love to hear your perspective in the comments below the video. Just a quick word, this is my quick word on these letters. This is number 98, Unleash Your Spirit. I've been writing these letters over 2.5 years. I've just moved my letters over to Substack. There'll be a link in the description below if you'd like to become a subscriber and get my letters. They go out every weekend straight to subscribers' email inboxes. It's all in support of a spiritual revolution, which is my mission to heal humankind through adults taking on a second education to unlearn and undo all the terrible consequences of the first one, which is a rotten schooling. And if you like what you hear, then you need to comment, subscribe, and what's the other one? Hit the notification bell. Sounds trite, doesn't it? But anyway, you can help me promote my channel. Right, until letter number 99, as I said in my letter itself, have an empowering time. Bye-bye.